Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Soulful Intuitive. The last episode, we touched up on spring cleaning and the emotional aspect of it and how to use that ritual metaphorically and literally in order to better our lives. To follow up on that topic, today I want to talk about infidelity. As we spring clean and go through our emotions and our memory bank, we come across a lot of issues. For most of us, our major traumas are caused in our families, either family of our origin or then later on the family that we form and our relationships. And of course, friendships come into that category, and sometimes the feeling of betrayal that we have to deal with our close friends. And but today's topic is going to be infidelity. We go through relationships. They are a big part of our self-development. We usually attract people who are at our wavelength. We might come across as being very different ethnically, maybe age-wise, gender-wise, with different economical background, even different education. But the essence of our souls and the wavelength at which we resonate usually attracts the same. That's why in the beginning of a relationship, we are disillusioned by a beautiful face, a sensual touch, a beautiful body, or just the glitz and sparkles of a certain lifestyle. Could be a beautiful home, could be a private jet, could be gadgets, or just the circle of friends of that person, who they know, who they bring to the table, their lifestyle in terms of jet setting and going on high power 5-star travels. But after a while, if we look deep, we come to a conclusion that the shortcomings usually are at the same level. And by shortcomings, I mean the parts where spiritual growth has to happen. In a situation where infidelity happens, usually one's being cheated on and the other one's a cheater, and sometimes both parties are cheating at the same time. Just one gets caught and the other one doesn't. And usually the one who gets cheated on feels very betrayed, as they should, and they shift all the blame on the opposite person, on their partner, on the perpetrator of cheating, the person who cheats on them or who has cheated on them. So that robs us from the opportunity to grow and to see what our responsibility has been and is in this situation. Finding out that little matter of cheating, when the discovery of that is a very painful reveal. It makes us look at our relationships hard. It makes us look at ourselves hard. And if we do it right, with the help of genuine friends, with the help of the right books and lectures and counselors and therapies and a lot of moment of self-reflection, we will find the reason behind it. We will take off the victim hat and put on our captain hat, being the captain of our lives, being in charge of our life. Why we attracted and were attracted to such a person. And hopefully we won't just throw the baby with the bathwater. We take away the main message, the real lesson of that. To give you an example, if we are a very insecure person and we come across someone who just showers us with compliments, of course, a lot of people who are insecure, most people are uncomfortable with receiving compliments, then they feel very elated. They see themselves only worthy when that person's around. They live for those moments of compliments and love bombing because they have a hard time seeing all of those wonderful terms and words and praises on their own. And that's usually those bonds are made. You fall in love with the other person showing love for you. Some people fall in love with the other person falling in love with them. But you don't really fall in love with that person. You fall in love with what that duo, what that relationship, what that coupling brings with it. It makes you feel worthwhile. It makes you feel like you matter. It makes you feel beautiful. It makes you feel sexy. It makes you feel worthy. And that can live for a while. Could be a year, could be 5 years, could be 10 years. But eventually that'll stop. And your sense of self-esteem, your reason to feel good is no longer going to be there. And then problems arise even more than before. When I talk to people who have experienced infidelity, and it's so common that let's just put it in a top 80% or 80 percentile of relationships experience that, not all the time, but let's say in the course of an adult life, we go through different relationships and people experience either cheating on someone or being cheated on, and they have the opportunity to grow, or they have the opportunity, or they choose to not see it for what it is and they move on to the next, which usually then the same thing will happen. So when it comes to spring cleaning, the metaphor that we used last time, in terms of going through our memories, going through our heart, going through our soul, and try to clean up. Part of the cleaning up requires looking into. It requires reflection. It requires some hard talk, some hard deep dives into our souls and into our own psyche and our own emotions, feelings, and the set of beliefs that we have of ourselves. And hopefully after having done all of that, we will walk away with a sense of knowing, with a sense of clarity as why we went through such an experience. For example, if we had an affair, or if we cheated on our boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband, why did we do it? Because people reduce infidelity to sexual experience, and it's really not about that. Infidelity happens due to a disconnect, due to the wrong reasons to attract someone or be attracted to someone. And it happens because people drift apart, because they're not connecting. It happens because sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable, so it's easier to just look at others and develop superficial relationships with a stranger or someone that will only see certain part of you because that's all you have to offer, or that's all you're willing to offer. If you're being cheated on, you go to the place of I'm not good enough, and anger and sadness and frustration and self-pity. But what we can do instead of all of that is taking responsibility for being 50% of that relationship, for not seeing the signs when we started drifting apart from each other, for possibly staying in a relationship that was announced dead years before the infidelity happened, for staying in a relationship for the wrong reasons. For some people is maybe properties, finances. For some people is just the not the disability, or not the not wanting to deal with change. Because sometimes we become very comfortable in our routines, even those routines sometimes are difficult and they're not making us happy, but we have been doing it and we're very well adapted to do it again, and we just don't want to do something else. We don't want to experience change, because some people are very afraid of change. Most of us are. Change is difficult. We stay with a partner in a dead relationship because of the kids, because we want to do the kids the favor of living in a hell-ish situation, to witness fights, to witness cruelty, to witness disconnect. We want our kids to see a wrong pattern of a relationship, to what love isn't. And of course, we don't do it on purpose. We do it because we are not aware. We do it because we are told that, oh, like, you stick it out, or this is how every relationship is, or passion dies after so long, or men are like this, or women are like that, and you want to like do the right thing. And depending on who you're talking to and what kind of advice you're getting, you act accordingly. But if we really want to break it down to what infidelity is an opportunity to grow. Infidelity is not the end of a relationship, or it shouldn't be if both parties are willing to look at themselves and take responsibility and prove to themselves and their partner that they're willing to do the work, and not the work that they want the partner to do, but the work that they have to do on their own, to see where the disconnect happened and how it happened. And hopefully, if both parties are willing to work on their own self-esteem and their own values and their own self-development, and if by some luck they grew in the same direction together, then they will stay and their relationship becomes stronger. And they will then look back at that glitch in their relationship as a turning point, as an event that brought them together. And by admitting where they went wrong, and by admitting to their partner that they now see the truth, and by stop shifting blame, but actually taking responsibility, by showing remorse and sorrow for intentionally or unintentionally hurting the ones that they loved, by being human, by being genuine, by being heartfelt, by being deep, by being authentic, that's after that they will able to move past it, move on, and become a better, stronger union. Because it's myth that you enter into a relationship or into couplehood and you will do everything right is nothing but a lie. The best relationships have a lot of ups and downs, and even if we look at our friends or relationships around us and we just assume that just because we see them at a party and they're drinking together and dancing and having a good time, then they are always at bliss. That's just our skewed understanding of what we see in others. It's nothing but a happy filtered picture on Facebook or Instagram. It's just a snap. It's just a like a time frame. It's just like a picture. We just see them at a very short period of time. But if you are privy to these relationships, if you are comfortable with them or they're comfortable with you, they will tell you the truth that it takes a lot of work to make a relationship work and to grow stronger and move forward. Every day is a new day, and every day people have to get up and be dedicated to their relationship. A very wise lady told me a statement that really clicked with me. And it was, every action that you're taking, you have to ask yourself, is that towards fidelity and commitment to my relationship, or the opposite? And there are only two ways to go. In my line of work, I talk to a lot of people, and I see them in the beginning of new relationships, in the middle and the end. And I'm lucky enough to hear the stories, the endings, the beginnings, and I'm constantly learning that we are so alike. And it doesn't matter where we are, it doesn't matter how old we are, it doesn't matter what color of skin we have, it doesn't matter if we're gay or straight or other. We have the same issues, and we're attracting people who vibe with us, who have the same insecurities, who have the same traumas. We trauma bond all the time. There is no coincidence that we walk into a room, at a party full of tens or sometimes hundreds of people, and that one person who has the same trauma starts talking to us. We find each other and we think it's magical. And it is magical, but it's called law of attraction. So for those of us who experience insecurity, and then we meet someone on a white horse, and then all of a sudden we're on cloud number 9, and we forget about all of our issues, and we become that relationship, we will have to wake up. And for the rest of us who go through ups and downs, and sometimes the down would be finding out that your partner is having an emotional relationship with someone else, or a physical relationship with someone else, or even having the thoughts to go out of your relationship, then we need to have the hard talk, not only with them, but with us. Always trust your intuition. If you feel that something's off, something is off. Don't let someone talk you out of it. Don't let someone bring you out of your own centeredness. When you lay next to your partner or sit next to your partner and you feel like they're somewhere else, the chances are they're somewhere else. And you can ignore it. You can turn a blind eye on it. You can talk yourself out of it. You can go to the psychic and they can tell you you're wrong or right, doesn't matter. But you need to take charge of your life. You need to trust your own feelings. You need to trust your own instincts. And regardless of what your partner tells you, because a lot of times we confront others and they lie to us, looking us straight in the eyes, because it takes courage, it takes bravery, it takes awareness and wisdom to own your actions. There's a lot of shame and guilt in our human culture. People don't want to face the wrath of others. They don't want to face the reality. They don't want to face the aftermath of what they have done. So therefore they believe and they lie to themselves, and they believe that lie, and in turn, when you turn it around and you tell them that they get very angry, they lash out at you, and they call you all kinds of names. But these are all normal human reactions. It takes a lot of time and effort for people to come in truth, to accept what they've done, to accept what has been done to them, and to accept what role they have played in order to arrive there. So this is a very deep, heavy topic. Obviously, is not only going to be talked about once, but many, many times. But this is an opening to that topic. And it is a topic that is important on so many levels because we're nearing spring. And to my experience, a lot of people, especially when they're young, they want to couple up in the fall to have someone in the cold season, and then the spring fever comes, and all of a sudden everyone's looking around because all the eggs have hatched, and there's new product on the street, and newer and younger and hipper and all of the above, and they think that this time around is going to be different. So then they break up with their current partner because they want to play around or just enjoy life, which is fine. It is what it is. If that is what you're here on this earth to just experiment and relationship hop, you can do that. There is no rule. Everyone makes their bed, and eventually they have to lay in it too. But for those of us who are here and we have realized that the life plan that we have come up with and our journey is not about superficial moments, and it's just not about going along and having fun, but it's about self-development and making ourselves better souls, so we can not only be good to ourselves but also be better to others. We can take infidelity as a universal nudge to look at ourselves, and instead of shifting blame to others and what they've done or haven't done for us, we should look at what we didn't do for ourselves and what we could have done, but we didn't. And we expected others to make us feel whole, which almost always fires back and backfires. Sorry. And then it's never too late to start building ourselves up. And maybe in that process, our partners will see us in a different light, and what it could be a start of a new relationship, or it could be just a new chapter with someone else or just us, and that's okay, because we no longer need someone else outside of us to validate us, to make us feel good, to make us feel worthy. And when our vibration becomes stronger and our wavelength changes for better, then we will outgrow the ones who haven't done the work. They just disappear from our lives. Sometimes they move, sometimes they die, sometimes that was dark, I know, but sometimes they leave us, and sometimes they live next door to us, but we never see them. So it's all energy. I remember that my first relationship that I ended we were both living in the same city, maybe a block away from each other. And up until the point of a breakup, I would see that person all the time, everywhere. We would see each other at college and work and street, grocery store, restaurants, and everywhere. But the moment that I made the conscious decision that I deserve better and this is not working for me and I need to work on myself, and it was a beginning of my self-development journey, I stopped seeing that person as if he was never on this planet. And to this day, I'm really surprised that I never run into that person because we just have different wavelengths. I remember after that relationship, I was reduced to a shell of myself, and I found myself sitting at the bookstore in the middle of self-help section, and I read everything that was there to read. And because I didn't really have the money to buy all those books, I would just go and sit on the floor and read those books and then put a little bookmark in it and go back the next day and continue reading, because I realized that I didn't know myself and I was in a relationship for the wrong reason, and I was reduced to a very insecure, very afraid, very broken individual. And I remembered a shadow of myself from when I was very young, and I wanted to go back to that place. And I really just asked a lot of questions, and the universe answered a lot of them to me with those books. And I'm so grateful that those bookstores were available and I had the opportunity to actually go there and read and not get bothered. And that's my advice to all my friends when they're going through something. And I say, instead of drowning in the pain, drown in knowledge and try to just give yourself wings to fly by finding out why that happened and how can you grow from that point. And I'm really glad that I was so thirsty for answers and nobody around me was able to give me any answers, that I turned to books. And it really opened a lot of doors for me. And because infidelity is a topic that we all deal with, we all have friends who go through it, we have family members who go through it, we even hear strangers talking about it for at a hair salon, we hear someone in the other chair talking about it. It's really good to not look at it as a tragedy, but to look at it as a universal awakening and as a way for us to realize that we need to look inwards. And with everything, with all the troubling stuff, we need to look inwards. But mainly, the relationship is where we find ourselves. But also, what happens in a relationship is a way for us to find out where exactly we need to go to fix and find ourselves better. Because as alluring and as sparkly as a relationship can be, and we can get lost in it for a while, it simmers down for everyone. And then at some point you're able to see exactly that person that you're with and why you're with that person, and what is it that you feel about being in that relationship, or why is it that you're there. And are you there because you want to show everybody that you are worthy of someone wanting to, or are you there because you look at that person and that the good that you see in that person is a reflection of all the good that you see in yourself? Or is it because when you look at that person, you forget about all the parts in you that you need to be working on? Because I guarantee you that no one's going to stick around to cover your issues. They will, though, maybe give you some time, but eventually the pain comes, and the pain could be a reason for you to wake up, or the pain could be a reason for you to drown and blame everyone else but yourself. And the blame game never goes anywhere. It is not productive, and it's not the point of why things happen. If we look at the world as energy and energy only, and wavelengths and law of attraction and attracting who we are and what we are, then we no longer blame. We just look, observe, learn, smile, and move on. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.